Demand for specific high-end timepieces like Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, and Rolex has surged. As a result, it produced a market that's never existed before, with favorable and unfavorable outcomes. In this video, I'll explain a little bit more about what's going on with the demand for certain luxury watches, and then discuss both the advantages and disadvantages for all parties concerned. The Patek Philippe Nautilus reference 5711 is the timepiece in question. This watch has grown to be one of, if not the world's most sought-after watches. Over the previous 5 years, 5711's selling price climbed annually. However, the retail price differs from the picture. Because you couldn't just walk into a Patek authorized retailer to buy one, secondary market value shot up to more than quadruple this amount. However, something that defies the rule of supply and demand was safeguarded when demand seemed to be at its peak. They eliminated the blue 5711 to make room for a brand new model with a green dial. A rare double-sealed variation retails for $34,800, instead sold at auction in the summer of 2021 for an astounding $376,000 to $470,000 when buyer costs are considered, a sum that is 11 times the retail value even without these costs. Many people would describe what is occurring with secondary market premiums as insane. However, like the Nautilus example, individuals willingly part with their cash in return for these in high-demand models. Therefore, why and how did this occur? It's crucial first to discuss supply and demand, one of the pillars of economics, to comprehend the various market dynamics inside luxury products. Supply and demand should always be in a steady exchange in a regular market that can be regarded as healthy, establishing pricing equilibrium. However, the pursuit of equilibrium is rarely successful, as several factors can affect the market, and supply and demand are moving targets. In the luxury industry, supply and demand work differently. Manufacturers scramble to produce more of that product or raise prices to keep moving items. The maintenance of exclusivity is a factor that top luxury brands value equally. Prices typically rise when supply slows, but consumers are ready to pay more. Most individuals buy luxury goods because they want to show off and own something that not everyone can have. Social media's hype culture has contributed to this idea, but it is not brand new. Luxury firms that can make their products radiate workmanship, exclusivity, and distinction are respected. American economist Thorstein Veblen started examining the Industrial Revolution's upper earners' spending patterns in the late 19th century. The sudden spike in economic prosperity in the United States during this period, from 1870 to 1900s, is often called the Gilded Age. He coined the phrase conspicuous consumption after examining the period's booming consumerism and increased emphasis on class structure. Conspicuous consumption is the extravagant purchase or consumption of luxuries to elevate one's status. Veblen goods are the name used to describe these things. Some of the most prominent examples in contemporary society involve expensive timepieces from companies like Patek Philippe, Rolex, and Audemars Piguet. Are you enjoying it yet? There's more, so make sure to finish this video. And also don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for more upcoming videos like this. It is challenging to pinpoint the source of the increase in demand for a certain type of luxury watch because there are numerous contributing factors. However, keeping an eye on demand and ensuring slow, deliberate growth is essential. LVMH, the largest luxury firm in the world and owner of brands like Dior, Hennessy, and Louis Vuitton, dominates the luxury goods industry. In addition, the Swatch Group owns a large portfolio of watch brands, including Tissot, Omega, and Breguet. Richemont is the company that owns the brands Cartier, Montblanc, and several more prominent watch manufacturers. The idea of producing more products does lead to increased sales. Still, because brands typically work with the brick-and-mortar retailers, the sale is recorded when the merchant places the order rather than when the product is placed in the hands of the customer. In addition, due to the overproduction, demand may decline. Since the market capitalization of luxury watches is significantly lower than that of garments or handbags, this is even more sensitive in the luxury segment. Let's now go back and review the three stated brands in more detail: Rolex, Patek Philippe, and Audemars Piguet. Before going any further, it is crucial to remember that the current demand for these products is also a result of their focus on quality, iconic designs, and how they functioned throughout the previous century. The last operational factor is crucial because these companies may operate with a high degree of autonomy in the premium market because they operate privately rather than focusing on short-term profits. These brands can concentrate on their most special quality, their long-term notion of being seen as a prominent brand in the marketplace when short-term profit is not their primary priority. The current demand results from this cautious strategy and a top-tier product, but there was much more at play in this expanding snowball. Although the brands undoubtedly impacted what transpired, other factors such as the perfect storm of hype also played a significant role. Four key elements have led to these empty displays in advertisements and secondary market premiums. First, watches operate in a completely different environment thanks to social media. Online learning, shopping, and selling have brought in a level of accessibility and convenience that was not previously feasible. Second, conspicuous consumption has undoubtedly increased in the present day. Again, going back to the blend in this argument, as showing off your new item is confined to those in your local circle and a global internet circle. Third, with the rise of the flexing lifestyle, the biggest and most expensive things are what garner clicks. And for some, those clicks are equivalent to any form of currency. Fourth are the rise of vintage watches and the fixation with steel sports watches. Celebrities praising references from some of the major brands, wild auction results like the Rolex Paul Newman Daytona, and a general boom for 20th century vintage Rolex in general have all changed what consumers wanted. In addition, many people began to look at sports watches more than they had in previous years due to the discussion surrounding sports watches and the world becoming more casual. Additionally, markets for this kind of product are expanding quickly, particularly in regions like Asia, making it more global than ever before. This single-style rise and developing markets have altered the playing field. The rise in demand for luxury timepieces led to a boom in the secondary market, which stimulated opportunists who believed they could profit by purchasing low and selling high. It also attracted those lusting to flaunt their status as owners of the most unique goods. As a result, what you get with your watch is not only a well-made luxury good, but has become increasingly exclusive and sometimes a literal investment. Even with the rise in demand for names like Rolex and Patek, they will still need to raise their supply even if the market can support it. However, they won't do this for two reasons. First, it's difficult to scale production significantly in a short period because trained artisans are assembling the watches. And second, a sharp increase could have long-term effects on their product's pricing and demand. Rolex and Patek are companies that have not seen their organizations 5 or 10 years ago. Instead, they consider where they stand historically throughout periods of centuries. Brands of this will seek to align themselves with these notions better to have longevity in a market that will undoubtedly get smaller in the next 50 to 100 years. Watches as a product category are becoming less about function and more about workmanship, artistry, and status. The production decline brought on by the 2020 shutdowns has just fanned the flames of rising demand. Despite seeming to be only beneficial for the brands, this has also had some unfavorable effects. There is a severe lack of transparency in the production process, and people need to be aware of what is happening. Luxury brands like Rolex, Audemars, and Patek Philippe are experiencing a boom in demand. The effect on folks like you and me is arguably the disadvantage of this. Most consumers are okay with some exclusivity and demand access to the goods they desire. However, there comes a time when the pursuit of acquisition threatens to consume the other aspects of what a luxurious experience ought to be. Some brands are okay with this since they prefer to sell fewer things, increasing demand and driving up costs. However, if you are a Patek-approved dealer and receive a Nautilus, you can sell that watch. As a result, you have one watch in a list of inquiries that contains at least a few hundred names. So who do you decide on? Additionally, you will have to sell that watch at retail pricing if you want to sell it. But as a retailer, you must keep in mind that the exact look you sold for $35,000 can now be flipped by the buyer for an insane return for multiples of their money. The double seal auction example occurred because a merchant lost their 80 of Patek and had nothing left to lose, so they maximized their gains as they went. Some approved dealers sell directly to secondary market channels. However, I need to determine how frequently this occurs. These companies may quickly terminate your authorized dealership as a result. Watch brands have not operated as direct-to-consumer brands for the past century, which is even more crucial. When they sell to merchants rather than the final customer, they are B2B business that records sales. As a result, ads or doors may need to change how they function even if people get dissatisfied with them. This concept is considerably more nuanced than many people realize. This has gotten worse because of how society has changed. For example, you get a range of answers if you ask people to define luxuries or luxury products. However, this is a formal definition, and expensive or difficult to obtain inessential. Two components of this definition mainly stick out to me. First, the primary characteristic of luxury products is their high price, which has always been a determining factor in their exclusivity and rarity. What is occurring though is that more than costing a lot of money is needed to give consumers the dopamine rush of possessing something special. We need another barrier. Therefore, imposing a further one of great scarcity has only increased the allure of these things in buyers' eyes. However, other than a general shift in how people behave and what they consider luxurious, where can businesses go from here and where can we go from here? Now, despite my tastes, brands are beginning to read the writing on the wall. They have two options: pay the enormous sums necessary to scale production, risk the long-term adverse effects of overproducing while the market is at its peak, and profit more. In the world of Swiss watches, where exports will undoubtedly decline over the next 10 to 20 to 30 years, the short-term benefit for a private company in luxury products will not be worth the return. However, if there is one thing that will be crucial when considering how people see a firm, it is transparency. Having statements about how they distribute pieces, what the regulations are, and how AG's function goes a long way and will at least lend a little favor to some of the brand's perceptions. Openness is crucial when trying to influence or even create the next generation of consumers. A whole generation of emerging individuals will begin to have extra money and do not recall a period when a watch was a necessary instrument for daily living. This could include not only failing to convey the significance of the product and its place in the market, but also failing to mention them. Many of these brands will consider going straight to the consumer or considering their collaborations in a somewhat more involved manner, whether e-commerce or considering a small number of crucial partners for an online digital front. However, it will be challenging to meet the demand for a product on a global scale because of the rise of social media and the online landscape. We are dealing with institutions whose only strength will be their reputation and market exclusivity, which they would defend at all costs. There is a lot to digest here, so I approach it from a very high level and go into great depth about what is happening. This is a loaded topic that is incredibly intricate. Therefore, I'd love to read the comments below. but I want to know what you people believe. And I sincerely hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. If you still need to subscribe to this channel, please like and subscribe to be updated for more. Since we talked about the Rolex authorized dealers, do you want to know who they sell to? This video is for you. If you want to know more, just click and watch it here.